is Lake County. Yeah, so, and we have somebody that she just texted me. She's on her way from Eureka. So Lisa's coming from Eureka to be here today. So we're really happy for her. And she complained that she goes, my alarm was supposed to go off at 4:45 this morning. And I didn't realize I set it for 4:45 p.m. She's gonna be a little late, but great to see you. Gary, you want to announce our new exciting guest?
Well, no, you can-
You're on the roll. Well, everybody, I had the pleasure of spending a good part of the day yesterday with Ginger Wilcox, our new president for BHG. I am so excited what she's bringing to the table and excited to hear what she tells you guys today. But it was an incredible day. Her openness and her want to just be better, you know, and everybody knows that be better is in my vocabulary. And I think we're going to be better now with Ginger. So Ginger.
Thank you. Thank you so much. It's so exciting to be here. I'll give you a little bit of background on me. And this is sort of, I mentioned to Sheila earlier that I sort of feel like I'm coming to my hometown because I spent much of the last 20 years in Marin County. I actually sold real estate in Marin. I was an agent there, was a broker there, and have spent most of my life in real estate. As a matter of fact, my first job in real estate was when I was about 5 years old. And my mom put me in pigtails and she paid me a penny a house to go knock on doors and get people to open their doors, and I delivered the flyers. So definitely slave labor, I would say. I grew up in Arizona, so we did that during the summer when there was no school in session. And for those of you who have ever been to Arizona in the summer, really, truly not the best place to be door knocking in 120-degree heat or whatever that was. But it really did work. People always opened the door. And my mom is still a practicing agent today. As a matter of fact, she sold her Arizona real estate business and moved to California about 15 years ago to be closer to grandkids, which for those of you who have grandkids, that's oftentimes the case. You want to spend that time with them. So really every conversation for much of my life has been around real estate. My grandfather was a developer in Arizona as well. And my grandmother still has a real estate license. She's 94. She's not. She always thought it was a good thing to do, and it gave her time. She enjoyed going to all of the continuing education classes with my mom, which I never have quite understood. I personally just spent a few days this last weekend doing compliance courses, and it's like, but you know, those things that we have to do. After I graduated from college, I worked briefly with my mom in Arizona selling real estate. Lowest price house ever sold, I was telling these guys last night, $50,000. And when I went to Marin County, that changed quite a bit. But I actually took a break from real estate and went into high tech in the Bay Area in Silicon Valley, and learned a lot about marketing, technology, and how those could be really used in unique and different ways. And when I went back into real estate, was quite successful because of that technology and marketing background as an agent. Eventually went on to Trulia. I was head of marketing and relations at Trulia, spent many years there, and was there and through the Zillow acquisition, was really a part of transforming that shift from print to digital, and working closely with real estate agents and brokers across the country. For the last 6 years or so, I've actually been on the finance side, on the mortgage side, trying to make that better for all of you. Not an easy task, but still a lot of room for improvement. But during that time, I had the opportunity to build out some really interesting technology, including an AI-powered underwriting system. So my background is pretty deep across marketing and technology, and I think that all of those really lead me to this amazing job. I think I have the best job in the world now. I get the opportunity to spend time with people like you, who I feel like are my family, because I have grown up in this business. And at Better Homes, would you all say we're one big family?
Yes.
I joined this brand for a few reasons, and I thought I'd share them with you because I think that there's probably a lot of similar feelings in this group. I would say first off, I had the opportunity in 2008 to meet Sherry Chris and to understand what she was doing as she was launching the Better Homes and Gardens brand. And I've watched a little bit from the sidelines, but also as a partner to Better Homes and Gardens over the years, just the trajectory and growth of this brand and the unique capabilities that I believe exist with the brand. And when Sherry called me and said, you know, I'm retiring, which she did. And I said, yes. And she said, we need you, which was a really, really great opportunity for me to come in and leverage my unique skill set with marketing, technology, and real estate to really think about the next iteration of this brand and where we all go. What I quickly found as I started having conversations with the brand is that there is so much unique capabilities within the broader Anywhere family and within Better Homes and Gardens, so many incredible staff members that support you every day, even when you may not always see that. And I would say most importantly, the power of the Better Homes and Gardens name and what that looks like across the nation and really across the globe. It is truly the most iconic brand in real estate and in many ways beyond real estate for anything lifestyle related with people's homes. I've been learning a lot about Dotdash Meredith, which owns the Better Homes and Gardens magazine that you all know, and have had the opportunity to meet with their team virtually. We'll be meeting with their team in person next month, which I'm really excited about. And we're really looking to deepen the relationship with Dotdash Meredith and understand how we can really take the great brand that we have and go further with all of the digital assets that exist within the Dotdash Meredith family. For those of you who may need a little refresher, and I've been learning a lot of this myself. So by the way, 5 weeks in, so if you have hard questions, I may not have answers to them. That's why Chris is here, because he's been with the brand for 9 years, and he's going to come up and talk to you about growth and some other exciting things that are, you know, happening with us. But yeah, seeing the power of this brand and understanding the capabilities because of our relationship and affiliation with Dotdash Meredith and the magazine, and all of the magazines that fit within that family of brands is, you know, is truly unique. There are 40 plus publications and brands that fall under the Dotdash Meredith family. I was looking at a few stats, and to give you a frame of reference, Zillow has 60 million unique visitors a month. Dotdash Meredith sees 30 million a day.
Wow.
30 million, 200 million unique a month. So significant audience across their family of brands. And sometimes I hear, well, you know, that's not so much luxury. It is luxury because it's across lifestyle magazines, Real Simple, Travel and Leisure, Food and Wine, across every demographic, every age group, every geography across the country is the reach of this brand. 12 billion consumer intent signals that they see every month. It's absolutely enormous. And the power of the data behind that and the insights that we can really garner to be able to better understand the trends of what consumers are doing is absolutely unparalleled. And that's something that I believe deeply that we want to make sure that you're empowered with the tools, the resources, and the information so that you can share that information with the home buyers and sellers that you interact with every day. There is not a single homeowner in this country who shouldn't be listing their home with Better Homes and Gardens, because it is truly the lifestyle brand with the most access to consumer information. And that's really my goal, is to make sure that we have that deep relationship and that we're really leveraging it in a way that empowers you to be able to win every listing and win every consumer interaction, because that's why I'm here. That's what inspired me to come to Better Homes and Gardens. We have such a unique opportunity. I say I have the best job in the world. I do, because I truly believe in the work that you all do every day. Real estate is deep in my heart. There's a lot of challenges right now with consumers who think that you aren't valuable. Sometimes you feel that there's pressure on your commissions, right? I think maybe I don't need an agent. And we all know that an agent is so critical to be able to support them, not just in the transaction, but through the life that they do. This is not a one and done transaction. You spend your life with your customers. And so much of what you do is concierges, marriage counselors, therapists, right? As I go out and I talk to agents and brokers across the country, the thing that's so inspiring to me is the impact that people make in the community. because you're volunteers in the community and you're helping people shepherd through the different changes in their life. And with the power of this brand behind, 100 years of trusted inspiration. You'll hear me say that a lot, because I truly believe that there is no other brand that is trusted in the way that Better Homes and Gardens is. And so my vision is, and my plan, and you'll get to know me, I do what I say. And I work really hard, and I do that fueled by passion. I'm really passionate about ensuring that this industry, this profession, and Better Homes and Gardens sustains and thrives over the next 15 years, 20 years, 100 years, hopefully. We'll not be working through all of that, but maybe, you know, stem cells. So that's why I'm here. I'm very excited to be a part of the Better Homes and Gardens family. I've been in your shoes. I'm in a very different shoes now, but I look forward to learning from all of you and learning from how we can better support you. You know, this is really such a great time to be in real estate, which is hard to think about when you're looking at lack of inventory that we're facing, the mortgage rates. This has not been a fun year. But with markets like this comes great opportunity. And now is not the time to sit on the sidelines. As a matter of fact, now's the time to dig in, because so many people are afraid. They're afraid of what's going to happen. How am I going to get that next listing? And it's easy to get distracted. It's easy to let your mindset put you in a place where you're not able to take advantage of the opportunity. So right now, your competition doesn't have the power of this brand. They don't have the power of the training that you have access to. They don't have the tools you have access to, the incredible marketing that I've heard about, not only at the corporate level, but the work that's done here to support you every day. And I'm really looking forward to diving in and understanding that on a deeper level. But you have so many tools available to you, and now's the time to be thinking about how do you dive in. Are you doing those open houses? Because people recognize the brand. Are you leveraging Pinpoint? See, I know a few of the tools, I'm working on it. Are you leveraging Pinpoint to be able to access that consumer insights that are in there today? How are you using the power of the magazines? You know, I was thinking about this and I didn't have time to do it this morning, but I think that we go to the store, buy the 40 magazines and put them on your next listing appointment and say, who else has access to consumer insights across all of that? How are you leveraging the different tools to be able to communicate to the people that you're interacting with that you belong to one of the most iconic brands in real estate? There's a lot of things available to you. I'll be looking to make sure that they're very accessible and that you understand how to use them. We'll be looking to do more training around all of that. But you've got a lot of tools in your tool belt today. And now's the time to dive in, to go deep, and to really think about how you take advantage of this market, because it is truly unique. Businesses will be made. The people that are going to be the top agents for the next 10 years are the people who are digging in right now. And then they're not afraid. And I'm going to be there along the journey, excited to work with all of these great people. And I'll let you maybe ask questions if you'd like to ask any questions of me. Don't be shy. In case you can't tell, I'm not shy.
Well, I'll start with one thing. What I'm really excited about is when you talk about the numbers of what Dotdash gets on a daily basis and you wanting to tap into that. How do you see that going into for the real estate agent? What's your vision for that?
Well, you know, right now today, and if you think about the historical relationship that we've had with Better Homes and Gardens from 15 years ago, when that agreement, the licensing agreement was signed 15 years ago, there wasn't digital advertising. It was all print. And so our relationship with Dotdash Meredith has primarily been focused around the magazine, the print magazine, and not really tapping into the digital assets that really exist in the way that I see that happening. So I see that there's two things. One is creating more opportunities to get in front of customers in a digital way, where they're at. And then also leveraging that information that exists from those 12 billion intent signals that happen every day to be able to make sure that you have the right insights and information to be able to inform your consumers. We are at the forefront of the trends that are happening. We have been for 15 years. And when we think about how people are living in their homes, how they're working in their homes, the wine that they taste, the food that they eat, all recipes as part of the Meredith family, and how many people have saved their recipes and go on and look for things. We literally have information that is available through this relationship about every aspect of people's lives. And I want to bring that to you in a different way so that you can better inform your consumers about the trends that are going to be shaping their lives and make you the experts on lifestyle, because that's what we do. Chris has been reinforcing this with me a lot. And he likes to say that you're not selling real estate, you're selling a lifestyle. And that really is true. And so I want to make sure that you have the insights and tools available to you to be able to really truly tap into that unique asset that you have.
So what is it like?
Real quick, what's your name?
Sandra.
Sandra, nice to meet you.
Nice to meet you. So what is it like, a dashboard and then it has different categories? You click on that and goes based off of that, or?
I'm not, I, at this point, I can't talk to you about any like innovation or product or tools, because I'm telling you my vision versus what products will look like. But there's so much information that's accessible. Some of it you already have with Pinpoint today, and we're looking to expand that in a further way.
One of the things Ginger brought up yesterday in our meeting was the use that it's not just, you've got to remember, we're not just Better Homes and Gardens magazine, that we have food and wine, we have parenting, we have different magazines that you can send to your database and the consumers that you're working with, and how important it is to really match the magazine with the follow-up. So don't keep yourself limited to think that it's just Better Homes and Gardens magazine. There's an assortment of different ones that you can use. If you want to do luxury, then go food and wine. If you're working with a lot of people with kids, go parenting. So there's choices. Take advantage of those choices.
And then as you're thinking about winning those listings, I think really tailoring that conversation to the area of the property and the lifestyle that property represents. There's an enormous asset there that goes beyond just the Better Homes and Gardens magazine. So leverage those tools. The lifestyle content is incredible. That's out there, and we'll be looking to provide even more of that type of information so that you can share it on your social, share it in your marketing, and really engage your audience, your network, your community with the information that will help them, not just with their transactions, but with all of the decisions, in their lives. When I look at Better Homes and Gardens for 100 years, it's been this source of inspiration for people who are dreaming about getting into a home and dreaming about what that home can look like or what that represents to them and their family. And that's such a unique gift that you all have today, that really could be leveraged. Others?
Don't be shy out there.
And
Maybe-
even online, you can put a question in the chat. And we'll get it up there.
Why don't we do this? Why don't we bring Chris up? Chris has got some great stuff to talk about. And then at the end, if you have further questions that come up as he's talking, then we can answer them and we'll go from there. Yeah.
So if you can't tell, she's passionate, right? And it's, I'll tell a little bit about my background. I'm 20 years in the business. I was an agent for 7 years. I was a managing broker for 5 years. Across the country right now, it's Tuesday. And there's offices where agents are sitting right where you're sitting and having sales meetings. And for 4 years, I got to lead sales meetings. And it was one of the highlights of my life, coaching and training agents and helping them be successful. 9 years ago, I transitioned into this role. And let me tell you a little bit about that. So we were a Prudential franchise, and the broker owner was invited to come out to New Jersey to the corporate headquarters and meet with Sherry, Chris, and the team and learn about Better Homes and Gardens. And I say this a little tongue in cheek, but I didn't want to go. It's like, why are we doing this? I don't understand. And how many of you know the Hair Club for Men commercials, which not only am I a client, not only am I the president, but I was a client. Well, here I am today, one of the senior leaders in the Better Homes and Gardens organization. And so we flew out to New Jersey. And we spent an evening with the leadership at dinner, and then we sat in a conference room at headquarters in New Jersey, and we learned the value proposition of the Better Homes and Gardens brand. At the end of that meeting, the broker owner and I left, and he calls me up to his hotel room before we head home that next day, and he says, well, what'd you think? And I said, Bruce, I don't know how I'm going to stand in front of our team of agents on Tuesday and tell them that we have the best stuff, because we don't. And sadly, we weren't able to figure out how to become a Better Homes and Gardens franchise. But luckily, Sherry reached out and said, Chris, I've known you for years. Sorry, this didn't work out where you can join the brand, but I want you to join the brand anyway. And so I joined the brand. I was a franchise sales director for 18 months. And then I moved into the role I'm in now, which is the managing regional vice president. So I oversee franchise development and growth. What I love about my job is, just like when I went through the value proposition meeting and saw all the cool things that Better Homes and Gardens can do. And as Ginger stated, I talk all the time about, I ask agents and brokers, like, what do you do? Oh, I help people buy 3-bedroom, 2-bath homes, with a quarter acre. No, you don't. You help them build lifestyle, right? You help them build the life that they want to live. And no brand in real estate moves you closer to the consumer than the Better Homes and Gardens brand. And so when I sat in that meeting and left, I was just blown away by how we move closer to the consumer than any other brand out there. Relevant to the consumer 365 days a year. How many of you know Brian Buffini? I know you mentioned it a few times last night, but I was a Brian Buffini mentor. The bulk of my business was SOI, Sphere of Influence Marketing. And we would spend so much time and energy trying to connect with the consumer and be relevant to them. And what did we do every month? Here's the real estate statistics for the market. Like, it's like buying a vehicle and then the dealership sending you an ad for another vehicle a month later. You're not going to buy another vehicle that soon, right? We help them build their lifestyle. We still stay relevant to them. We have meaning to them throughout the entire process of their home buying cycle in life. That means that they're going to be referring clients to you, that they're going to come back to you when they have a family member that needs to buy a house. This is one of the most amazing brands in real estate. And it's also one of the most misunderstood brands in real estate. So I'm really excited. I've known Ginger we haven't even figured out how long we've known each other, because we've both been in the industry so long. But what I love about Ginger coming in is figuring out, how do we leverage that relationship with Dotdash Meredith better? So when I go out in the field, I meet with brokerages and we figure out, does joining Better Homes and Gardens make sense? What stands out to them is 3 things. First is our culture. You all know our core values, right? Passion, authenticity, inclusion, growth, and excellence. PAGE is the acronym for that. So they love our culture. And you guys know how important culture is, right? It's really what builds this office and this company. So they love the culture of the Better Homes and Gardens brand. The second is they love, as I've already mentioned, the consumer-centric focus, the fact that we are relevant to the consumer in ways you can't imagine. And then the third is growth. And I'm fortunate, from where I get to sit in this company, I get to see brokerages grow, such as yours. We've worked closely with Randy and Gary on several M&A opportunities. We do that across the country. Randy wanted me to mention a little bit about growth. When I joined the company 9 years ago, the furthest south brokerage we had in California, I think, was Gavin in San Luis Obispo. Now we have brokerages in Chula Vista, in Temecula, in Simi Valley, in Ventura, in Palm Springs, Desert Lifestyles. In fact, hopefully many of you get to go to Apex in Palm Springs and meet that team. So it's just been really fun to see this brand grow and take hold. But what I love most is when people ask me what I do, and I say, I help grow the Better Homes and Gardens real estate franchise. And they're like, I love that. And you can't buy that. As Ginger said, it's such an important aspect of what we have. People have an emotional response to this magazine. And I told a story yesterday with Randy, and Ginger heard it for the first time too, and I'll share it with you. So the brand, the Dotdash Meredith before was just Meredith, the parent company of the magazine, and that merger took place, I think, 2-3 years ago. And so, as Ginger mentioned, we want to leverage the aspect of Dotdash and the digital marketing. But let me tell you a little story about the magazine that hopefully drives home the point of how much this means to the consumer. So, does anyone know the history of the magazine and how it started and any of that?
This is really cool.
So E.T. Meredith, which is why it's called the Meredith Corporation, E.T. Meredith came up with an idea, and he said, I'm going to create a magazine called Successful Farming. Has anyone heard of Successful Farming? Maybe you subscribe. It's still in print today. I don't think it's on our list of magazines that you
No,
can send
no,
your
no.
clients, but that's where he started.
Wow.
And so he would go out. So Des Moines, Iowa, lots of farmland out there. We know a lot of corn out there, right? He'd go and knock on the door to peddle his wares and sell the magazine subscription. And who would answer the door? The wife. What's the wife? The wife is the CEO of the household. And he saw an opportunity. So a few years later, he started another magazine to meet the needs of the CEO of the household. And it was called Fruit, Home and Garden. So just be grateful that you are Better Homes and Gardens, not Fruit, Home and Garden Real Estate. So if you think sometimes you have challenges with Better Homes and Gardens Real Estate and marketing that, can you imagine? Hi, I'm with Fruit, Home and Garden Real Estate. Quickly, he realized he needed to change the name, and it's Better Homes and Gardens. And I heard Randy earlier, and I think Ginger mentioned as well, be better is one of our taglines. One of the things that I love, Steve Orr, the CEO of the Meredith Group, which before the merger, he said, you know, one of the cool things is we help our consumers not become perfect. We help our consumers become a little bit better every single day. And that's really what building lifestyle is about, is helping someone become better every single day. And that's what you're part of. That's what you get to do. So back to the story. So he changes the name to Better Homes and Gardens, and that's now been around for 100 years, as you all well know. Well, I should have looked it up last night to get the exact date, because I told Randy it was like 70s or 80s. So back then, the publishing was all done at the headquarters. And in fact, when you go there, you see the concrete floor and you see the steel grates. The reason that steel grates built into the concrete floor is to reinforce the concrete, because the big rolls of print paper were so heavy and it would crush the concrete. So it also required a lot of water. And so it was right on the river. So they pulled water into the facility to cool down the machines and whatnot. Well, in the late 70s, early 80s, I think there was a flood. Well, where do you think they stored all the print issues for all those years? Where were they stored?
Come on, guys.
What happened?
Basement.
They were destroyed.
The
Almost the entire library of magazines was destroyed. So Better Homes and Gardens reaches out to their consumers and say, hey, this terrible tragedy happened. We're trying to rebuild our library. Here's what we have. Here's what we don't have. The library was filled almost instantaneously by the consumers.
What a great marketing
This is a
idea.
brand that they have emotional response to.
Right.
And I hear it time and time again when I'm out in the field, like, that brand doesn't have relevance in real estate. That's fine. I don't sell real estate. I sell lifestyle. I help people build lifestyle. And that's what this brand's about. And that's why not only was I a client, I became the managing regional vice president. Doesn't have the same ring as the Hercule Perman. But I literally left a brokerage that I loved, a broker who was like a brother to me, to come join this brand because I believe in it. And it's been my pleasure to help grow this brand and to work with brokers like Randy and Gary and help them find mergers and acquisition opportunities, help us find other brand or other brokerages out there to join the brand. I recognize a few of you I've seen at events and whatnot. Nothing pleases me more than going to events and seeing you guys' smiling faces and hearing your success stories and how you've leveraged this brand. Yesterday, we were talking about a handful of ideas and challenges that you have, and I came up with a couple ideas just off the cuff. And there's just so much opportunity out there, as Ginger said. Any market, there's opportunity, good markets, bad markets. And it's all about being close to the consumer, being relevant to the consumer, and making a difference in their life. So I'll get off my soapbox, but that's why I believe in this brand. That's why I love this brand. And I can't wait to see you guys in Palm Springs and next spring in Vegas. So Randy knows I love this brand, and I think he was nervous I was going to share some Randy stories.
Yeah, he keeps threatening that, and Ginger, I think, is waiting to hear some of it. So we're hoping that he holds back just a little.
One of the first brokerages I got to come visit in this role was these guys, and it was a lot of fun. And it's been fun watching you guys grow and do the things that you do. And I can tell you this: they are passionate about you guys. They love you as agents, and they love this business, and they love what you do. So I'm happy to field questions. If you thought of more questions for Ginger, I'll pull Ginger back up. But
I actually have a fun fact that occurred to me as that I learned last night when I was doing some research. Dotdash Meredith's reach percentage wise with women, when you're talking about the women as the CEO of the home, they reach 95% of US women.
Wow.
Isn't that staggering?
It's staggering.
95%. I had no idea. So really, really incredible when you think about who oftentimes makes those decisions around the household. Good question.
I have a quick question, followed by another comment and question. Actually, how many agents does BHG already have in America?
A little over 13,000,
13,000, okay.
I believe.
So my comment relates to this. You know, I've been in the business for 40 years or so. For like the last 15 or so, I've used a company to send a personalized magazine to clients that was a small publication.
Very familiar
I've
with
been
it.
a little hesitant about sending the Better Homes of Mark, Better Homes of Gardens subscriptions to my clients, because I didn't see a particular opportunity for me to have an ability to brand it personally, other than it's delivered. You know, this magazine comes to you, compliments of Norm Brown. What I think might be an idea would be if the company had some type of maybe 2-page newsletter nationally that we could receive once a month and download, and then be able to personalize it and mail to a client that we are sending the magazine to. As something, oh, by the way, I hope you got the magazine, and here's my local information. You know, it gives me a way to, then I have a way to really remind them, I'm putting this branded product in front of them. And leverage it with something I could use that don't necessarily have to create, because I could probably create my own thing. But the more I spend creating my own thing, the more time I spend selling real estate. So that's something.
That's why you have a phenomenal marketing team, and you make that call to Haley and that would happen. I used American Lifestyle as a producing agent for years, if that's the magazine you're talking about.
Yeah.
You know, I find that the people that I've sent Better Homes and Gardens magazine to, they absolutely love it because they love the variety, and it's something that they just keep on the shelf. And again, it's branded with you on the front that you've delivered, but initial letter and that goes out. Haley's got an assortment amount of different tools for you to email or mail out to your clients. So set an appointment and it'll happen.
That's
I-
go ahead.
I was just gonna say, I think it's a great suggestion. We're definitely going to be looking at the assets we have, and I'll be frank, I don't actually have a view of that yet, because that hasn't been where my focus is. But one of the things that is high on my priority list is to better understand what kinds of tools you are using, meet with people like Haley, and really learn from the agents and the marketing teams that are in the field and interacting with customers every day, so that we can expand on those tools. So thank you for the idea. I think it's a great one.
Yeah, so, you know, we do trust your local marketing directors to help with that, because, you know, real estate is local. The magazine you're referring to simply inserts a page in the magazine that highlights you. Their content is very generic, and it's actually a very slim magazine compared to the Better Homes and Gardens magazine that goes out, and it's a much lower cost. I would just say one thing though, is one of the things that a lot of agents I see leverage nationally, are not just sending magazines to their sphere of influence, but also to local businesses. Anywhere where you see a local business that has a waiting room and has magazines, doctor's office, dentist office, anywhere that has a waiting room, I highly recommend you go to those businesses that you have relationships with and just say, hey, I'd love to provide you with a free magazine subscription, and just, you know, you do want to disclose that it has your picture on it when it arrives, but you know, you can't buy that for $1 a month, right? You can't have a billboard sitting on a waiting room table like the magazine. So, you know, leverage the magazine in unique ways. One thing that I love about attending conferences like our Fusion and Apex is you learn these things from agents that are doing unique things. I told Ginger and Brandy yesterday, I mean, I've sat through probably hundreds of what we call value proposition meetings, and almost every meeting I learn a new tidbit or a broker asks a new question. So, you know, this is a industry that requires constant As Ginger says, evolution.
Yeah.
We, instead of the word change, evolution, but you're constantly having to evolve and figure out new ideas and new techniques. And so what I love is this brand is constantly trying to find those opportunities and make you guys more powerful in the field.
You know, some of the ways that I've heard, and I heard this at Apex, was that some top producers actually bring the magazine into their listing and show the ad of Better Homes and Gardens, and they said there's no other brand that gives you this kind of exposure, which is true. You know, when you have a magazine and you have a full page ad, periodically we show up in People magazine too. So sometimes, you know, you can pull that out as an ad. But that's a pretty powerful statement that consumers come and see this ad, which they can track down your property through our websites and that. So, you know, think about that. And again, it was Myron that actually shared that with me.
Yeah, well, what we should do is we should get you guys the sizzle reel for Dotdash Meredith, because it's just, as Ginger mentioned, the titles and whatnot, it's really impressive how they touch almost every aspect of a person's life.
Where did Dotdash come from? That I haven't been.
Dotdash was a company that acquired Meredith Corporation a few years back.
Okay.
Which is really unique and a great opportunity for us because Dotdash is a digital company. They have deep digital experience and that's where we see some really great opportunities for us to work with them differently in the future to think beyond the already amazing existing partnership to go even deeper on the digital side.
Okay, thanks.
So in May, we actually, I'll come to your question just a moment. So in May, we took, I think it was 6 or 7 companies. We took them to Birmingham. So Meredith, the original Meredith office is in Des Moines. They had New York City headquarters as well. And Dotdash brought in the Birmingham location. So they migrated some of the test kitchens to Birmingham. And we thought this would be a great chance to take some prospect brokerage companies to tour it. And if you ever get a chance to see the test kitchens and what goes into creating the content that they provide, I mean, how many of you do social media marketing? Like the amount of content you have available to you in the social media tool is just phenomenal. And the thought and effort that goes into creating meaningful content by that team is just profound. And so we took a company, they're about a $1.6 million company, and it was a merger opportunity for Aaron Dressel. So you heard I'm licensed. My license is with Better Homes and Gardens Momentum in Salt Lake City, Utah. And we took Aaron out with this company to examine the value proposition. And it was a husband-wife. The wife's not licensed, but the wife was the marketing director for the company. And when I sit in these meetings and we're presenting things, like I watch. And everything we presented, her eyes just kept getting bigger and bigger and bigger. And afterwards, we took them to dinner to just debrief and down. But it's like, oh my gosh, I can do so much stuff with this. Like, you know, Haley, marketing mind, right, Haley? Like, it's just phenomenal, the content and what they create and what they do and what's available to us. It just blows my mind every time I see the value proposition. So.
Great. Well, thanks.
And by the way, that deal closed last week. And I went to their launch and the agent, that's the other thing I failed to mention is like, I get to go to these launches and to see the agents just get so excited. Oh my gosh, we love this brand. My grandma had it. My mom had it. I have it. I got 18 of the cookbooks, and like to see the agents excited that they become part of this brand is just heartwarming. So sorry.
No problem. I'm really excited because I think that the relationship with Meredith is kind of underutilized, right? I think there's a lot of potential there. I'm wondering if there's been any thought to, we also have the Moxie suite as an asset. And if you have any vision of in increasing that and maybe even coordinating more of the, you know, syncing those up a little bit to really give us more ability to connect that with our, you know, who we have in our CRM and develop that.
That would be helpful.
I'm somewhat new, as I mentioned, on the tool side, but you know, I think that it's clear to me that there's a good opportunity for us to tie the technology, the marketing and the training more closely together so that there's a more holistic view of how to support you in your business. And so that's something that we're definitely going to be working on. Chris can probably add a lot more there. than
Yeah,
I can.
integration is key. It's one thing that we always talk about. Anything we can do to make life easier for you,
Thank you.
automate, integrate, systematize. Frank Malpica, who heads up our growth team. Not the sales growth, but how to grow the business better internally. It's a big focus for him as well. There's things that Ginger and I can't talk about at the anywhere level, the corporate level of the holding company. But there's a lot of work groups and a lot of things going on and things on the horizon that just excite me as to how we can make you more effective and I always like brokers ask me sometimes, well, what do I get when I join your franchise? And my favorite answer is time. And they look at me like, what? Like, well, our goal is to give you more time. Like you're spending so much time in the weeds doing minutia, right? Like if we can systematize, automate and have the right things doing the right things at the right time for you, like it gives you time. What you do at that time is up to you. Is it more transactions? Is it more time with family? Is it more time relaxing and being on your own? Like it's time, right? And the same thing applies to you, not just at the broker's level, but down to you at the agent level. If we can make you more efficient and effective and do these things, then you choose what we do at that time. So hopefully it's a balance of additional transactions, family time, and enjoying life. But that's your call, what you do. Right?
Is there any discussion? This is, I don't know if this person's on the Zoom meeting, so forgive me for overstepping, Trudy. But
I knew before you said anything.
I don't want to mention any names. But Trudy, did you raise your hand, Trudy?
I love you, girl. She's busy working. So one of the conversations that we've had in our office up there in Ukiah is Moxie Works used to have like people like a geek squad, she called it. They used to come out and actually do in-person trainings. And we missed that, and we're wondering if there's discussion about that.
We talked a lot about it yesterday.
This is the first we're hearing of that. Your broker didn't say anything about that.
I stuck poor Ginger in the side in Petaluma where I sat where I blocked the door, so she had my full undivided attention. And what's absolutely amazing about Ginger, and again, we've just met, but she literally, the feel, and most of you know that I have a lot of passion for this company and for real estate. I think it exudes itself at times. I know I cut my finger the other day and it was bleeding green, so I don't know why that was, but
You should see a doctor.
Probably should. But Ginger was so open to listening and writing notes, and we went into great discussion about Moxie and that not all of us learn through video trainings and that the live trainings and what we've had. So we had a lot of discussion. I don't know where that'll go, but we had a lot of discussions about bringing outside trainers. And one of the things it was funny, I was talking to Christy this morning about being your own prophet. And I talked to the staff about that. And Chris brought this up, but you guys can pay money and go someplace to get training. And I could have been telling you, or Gary could have been telling you this for the last 6 months. And you come to us and go, oh my God, you know what I just learned? What? Really? And it's so important. So I know how the outside trainers coming in, and we've got a great training program within, but I know that you need help with Moxie. And we had a long discussion about that to really take advantage of the tools. And I know Gary and I need to do a better job of telling you the things that we have on a company level. And I think sometimes we get so busy with the everyday running of the offices and that we forget to help you realize the depth of this brand and the tools that are available and the advantage you have of an incredible marketing team and transaction coordinating team and head of administration. We really have, I will put our employees and our staff against anybody in the country. We've got help for you. We need to be open so that you guys feel comfortable utilizing that. So
yeah, I think it's great that you've talked about that. And the good thing is about Better Homes and Gardens is that there's so much available to us. the difficult thing about Better Homes and Gardens is there's so much available. So there's just,
It's a good
I hear
problem.
people say, "I go in the greenhouse, I go in the greenhouse and I'm just like overwhelmed.
Right.
Or going to Moxie Works to help you do this. Oh, so it's awesome that we have all these tools. And it's also overwhelming for a lot of us because there's so much,
So one of the things that we talk about a lot when we do our value proposition meeting with companies, because we do, it's about a 2.5 hour meeting, and we show the broker, like, this is everything we got, but it's a lot like the buffet, like going to Vegas, right? Like, when you go to the buffet in Vegas, you don't have the steak and the chicken and the crab legs and the shrimp and the potato. You don't have everything, right?
Some people do.
I just want to say I'm down about 30 pounds this year. I have avoided the Vegas. But it's important that you find the things that are meaningful to your business and implement
that's
those and be
that's
smart
the
of it.
thing.
You deserve a return on investment. We understand you're investing by being with Better Homes and Gardens. Randy and Gary understand you're investing by being here at their brokerage. You deserve a return on investment, but to get that return on investment, you need to figure out how to use what's available to you the best way for
Specific
you.
to you, yeah.
I manage a sales team of 4 people that have very large geographic territories across the nation, and every salesperson is different. What worked for this person doesn't work for this person.
Right.
You have your own personal style. So the good news is we do have all those things. The bad news is if you try to use them all, you're probably not going to succeed.
Right.
So find the things that are meaningful to you and your consumer base and use them the way that works for you.
I will also add on to that and say that there has been a lot of discussion and initiatives at the corporate level around simplification. And making sure that we're thinking about things about how to, not overwhelm. And so there's some changes ahead that you'll see, not change, evolution. I have to use my own terminology. There'll be some evolution in some of your user experience when you log in so that things are easier to find. It also goes back to what I was just saying about tying together training, the marketing and the tools, because they've kind of been a little bit siloed in the past. And I think that, my view is that we need to make sure that the tools are aligned around the things that you actually need to achieve. I'm very goal focused. I like to go, okay, where do we need to go? And then how do we back into it? And I think that's very true for the things that you need to do. So whether it's trying to reach new buyers, whether it's trying to win those listings, we're going to be looking to create a more holistic tied together experience. That will take time, so I'm not going to promise anything. Technology changes take time. Training takes a lot of time to be able to build and develop right. But my big focus right now is being out. I spent my first month kind of in the office, so to speak, my home office in Santa Cruz where I now live. But understanding what we have, understanding our staff, understanding, who kind of does what. Now I'll call it listening, because I'm out and I'm trying to understand the pain points, talking to Randy and talking to Gary about the challenges that you all face and how we can continue to improve on those experiences, and do it in a way that makes sense, because we can't deliver everything. We have to be very smart about how we run our business so that we can continue to thrive. I think that the next couple of years in this business are going to be interesting, and we've already seen some of it, but there's going to be companies that are not going to be able to survive because of the challenges that have been facing. And I think that we at Anywhere and at Better Homes and Gardens have taken a very focused approach to ensure that not only do we survive, but that we really truly come out in an incredible place. And that means relooking kind of at everything that we do, and with the lens of how does it support you every day.
Well, it's interesting, we instead of saying change, we've been saying evolution, and evolution is just constantly happening, right? I've been in this industry for 20 years. I think you said 30. Gary, we won't say how long. Gary's been in it for 2 or 3 weeks, I think. Randy as well, but the more evolution in this industry that takes place, the more things stay the same. And what I mean by that is it's the relationship with the consumer. It's being relevant to the consumer. And that's what's unique about this brand is we're not constantly chasing the shiny object. We're figuring out how to move you closer to the consumer and having a meaningful relationship with that consumer. So You know, just as I look at the landscape, so in my job, I get to travel in the markets and I've been doing this for 9 years. And you can go into a market and come back a year later and the market looks completely different. I'm not talking about the real estate market. I'm talking about the brokerage landscape. Like this broker's gotten bigger. This one's disappeared. This one. But what I see that happens the most is traditional valued brokerages are the ones that are still sticking around. And that's because they understand the principle of the customer is the most important piece of the equation, and you've got to be close to that customer. So I think I saw a hand up.
Yes. Leo Morel, I'm the senior dude in the organization.
You're in your third.
We got 9 years left for him with your mom, so,
Okay.
you know.
So you probably agree with what I just said.
However, I've been working in the business for over 40 years, 45 practically, with Gary from a long time ago, and we have been associated with different brands over that era, the whole era. Initially it was Henry Mayo, Sonoma Properties, the biggest dog in the street, moved to Sonoma in '76. Then he became, and was still the tiller at that time. We were Prudential, and then we were Bank of Allen, and now here we are at Rose Gardens, which is the probably most traditional, still keeping tradition alive in the industry, from my perspective anyway. It's been around a long time. The magazine's been around a long time. So it's a comfort to that. It's like hot stew on a cold day. So, and it's nice to see, I don't know how many more decades I'm gonna do this, but it's nice to see it's got a life to it, a new life, from my perspective.
Yeah.
And our staff is always willing to reach out to even the folks in my generation that everything's new. I thought I knew everything, but everything's new, right? At a certain point, right?
Yeah.
Everything's evolving.
It's
There you go,
nice,
yeah.
comfortable, it's like a family, even though it's a big business.
Yeah.
So my appreciation for these years.
Yeah, thank you. I really agree. And Randy said something yesterday about, about the brand, that some of the connotations, it's your grandmother's brand, and it is your grandmother's brand, but it's also your granddaughter's brand too. And I think that that's what's really unique about it. I have a 21-year-old daughter and I have an 18-year-old son. And the excitement, actually, you were there with in San Diego when I was announced as president. My daughter was there with me. And my daughter is not emotional. She doesn't have kind of the fire that I do. That's my son. She's like very, just doesn't show her emotion. And she was standing there, and it's gonna make me cry thinking about it. She was crying. And what it was is for her, it's also her magazine and it's her brand. And that's a really unique and special thing.
I've got a question. There was something going on with Meta where we couldn't auto post. Has that, the last time I tried to do it.
I don't know. I don't know. If that's
I'm not aware of an issue with that.
Yeah,
so-
no, it was a Facebook thing. Yeah, and I heard it was, somebody said it was corrected.
I saw that it was corrected, but I haven't gone back to
Yeah,
use it.
I think
to see if
when
it's
we were on the
corrected.
meeting yesterday, someone said it was working again, so.
Oh, it
we
was.
just had to keep track. It was a message.
Yeah, so we actually have a good relationship with them and have, as you're aware, several pieces of the puzzle that are applied to that. But one of the things, Frank, we mentioned Frank Malpica, and when we have value proposition meetings with prospects, one of the things I love is when he explains this, and I'll probably slaughter it, and maybe Ginger can help me. But the privacy laws that changed and how people can market on Facebook really drastically changed what real estate agents were doing. But that's what's unique about the pinpoint tool is it bypasses all of those laws because they are our consumers. They have subscriptions with us. We have the right to market to them. So despite all the technology changes, this little print magazine bypasses all that and reopens the door for you to do marketing in a way that other competitors can't. Did I phrase that all correctly with your tech background? Frank does a tremendous job of it. I just try to mimic.
No, you did, and it's actually one of the pieces that I'm really excited to be working more closely with Dash on because of their digital background. That they have been looking at the landscape of privacy changes and the the challenges that are associated with that for digital advertisers. And we really have the ability to kind of learn from them because they're at the forefront of evolving to be able to meet the needs of the consumer protection rules and also serve the needs of all of us as businesses that need to advertise too.
And just so you understand how that came about, well, it's not the only thing that came about, but a father found out his teenage daughter was pregnant from a Target ad for diapers. So that's yeah, he's like, why am I getting an ad for diapers? And anyway, so that's why consumer protection is become such a big thing, is because it kind of became Big Brother. But again, we bypass that because these are actually our consumers through the subscriptions and that. So.
You guys remember Dotdash? You do see it pretty much on a daily basis. They own Angie's List. So, we are touching that and seeing that all the time. So I'm really excited to see if there's any connection that is meaningful to you agents as far as connections go. And again, with pinpoints, expansion and, utilizing those tools that we have. A couple of great things. One, what I really love is this guy picked up evolution because he was hitting me in one chair about change. And as he said change, I would really feel myself like freeze up, and go.
No, that's just because I make you feel awkward.
Yeah, that's true. Be quiet, Haley. But he also adopted the word evolution. And Ginger brought up evolution yesterday, and I absolutely love that word. I just didn't think of the evolution of real estate versus change, because change makes us all step back. But evolution is like, we're moving forward. So it's a new word that I adopted.
Well, yeah, and I'm glad that we're using that word, but the funny thing about change or evolution is it happens whether we like it or not.
Right.
It's our reaction to it and how we embrace it and run with it. Ginger and I had a one-on-one breakfast, and it's easy to talk about the challenges we face. And Ginger at one point stopped and said, Chris, you know what? We just need to let all that go and focus on the future. And I was like, you know what? You're right. And it's a challenge for us personally in business with our clients. But it's all on how we react to it. We also Randy learned 2 new words yesterday too, scotoma and reticular activator. Scotoma is a brain block of sorts, right? Like a built-in belief.
I don't know what he was trying to tell me when it's doing it.
Well, when we were driving home with Christy, we had a big debrief, and I think Randy made some really big steps forward. So
Christy was really happy that he was personally doing some training on me, and broadening my vocabulary. So I don't know what all that was about, but
so Randy and I are good friends, in case you can't tell. So
Eric, you have a question?
Yeah, I did. When we talk about evolution and progress and technology and marketing, it seems like one of the elephants in the room is artificial intelligence. Do you have any thoughts about the impact of AI coming into the industry and how it impacts both the business and the individual agents?
I can definitely speak to that, and Chris, feel free to add on. AI is going to have a monumental impact on this business, and I think that it's, we're already seeing that, and it's starting. We had our Anywhere Corporate had our earnings call last week, and during that earnings call, Ryan Schneider, our CEO, talked about some of the things that we're doing with AI. Still very early phase, because like every company out there, you have to think about how kind of the good and the bad that comes with the use of artificial intelligence. But we think we're extremely well positioned as an organization to be at the forefront of using AI in a way that benefits each and every one of you, from how we run our business. But if you think about the access to information that we have at not just at Better Homes and Gardens, but across all of our family of brands, we have a tremendous amount of data, and AI is powered by data. There are a lot of small companies that are playing with artificial intelligence right now, but they don't have the data behind to really truly feed that in a way that is going to propel us forward. So it's going to have a big impact. What that looks like is still so early that it's hard to tell, but you'll start to see more about AI from us. We're looking at how we can make sure that you have some of the training that you need to be able to leverage some of the tools in a way that enables you to save time and also still be safe as we think about it. But I'm really excited about the prospect of AI. As you might have heard me when I was mentioning my background, I helped build an underwriting system for when I was working on the mortgage side that was leveraging the power of natural language processing and artificial intelligence to be able to make more informed mortgage decisions. So I think in areas like that, which have been struggling to truly adapt technology, it's a real challenge on the mortgage side. We're going to see rapid changes over the next few years, which will make the consumer experience better. I still believe that the mortgage process is one of the worst headaches in a real estate transaction. It's one of the primary reasons things fall through. Your clients are mad at you because of the experience they have. You know, I've been a Wells Fargo customer for a tremendous amount of time, had my mortgage with Wells Fargo, and when I went to buy another house, I had to fill out an application again. And, you know, it doesn't make any sense, but a lot of that will eventually be going away. There's a lot that needs to be done on the policy side in order to be able to implement some of the technology, both to ensure, you know, I would say privacy, but also just because of the rules that are in place today. But we're on the precipice of a major change for not just our industry, for every industry and for the way people work. But I think that for each and every one of us, what that means is more automation, better tools over the time. Anything to add?
Yeah, I'll add a couple of things. So wholly agree with what Ginger said, and Ginger has a far stronger tech background than I mean, I do know how to play iTunes. That's I'm good at that.
He did a really great job on the boat. He rocked that boat. We still didn't catch any fish though, but.
So, you know, the funny thing about real estate, what I've observed in my short 20 years of it, it's funny saying short, but I should say that when we've got some really good seasoned veterans in the room, but again, the more things evolve, the more things stay the same. I did a lot of work with Brad Inman early on. So I was the chair of the National Association of Realtors Social Media Advisory Board prior to joining this company, and did a lot of work with Brad Inman and Inman News. And you know, Brad Inman and his group and the news does a good job of sensationalizing everything, right? And I think back to like, was it Uncle Ben and Spider-Man, Peter Parker's uncle, and great power comes great responsibility, right? You know, there's some scary aspects of AI, as Ginger pointed out, and we need to be safe. But look, at the end of the day, buying and selling real estate and helping someone build a lifestyle is a very emotional thing. It's one of the most important things they'll ever do. There's no computer that's going to grab their hand, hold their hand, and guide them effectively and efficiently and in a trustworthy process through that experience. I don't see anything that will ever completely disrupt the agent-client relationship in this business. And if it ever does, then I'm worried more about civilization than I am the industry. Did I say that right?
No, I don't think it's something to be afraid of. I think it's something to be aware of and to pay attention to. And we want to make sure that we're providing you with the ability to be able to do that. I agree wholeheartedly. Like as I've shared, I've really been at the precipice of a lot of the change in technology and have had the opportunity to work with some great technology companies. And I came to Better Homes and Gardens to many extents, which is a traditional brand, because I believe in the power and longevity of this business and the work that you all do every day. And so I don't think you need to be afraid. I think you need to be aware, and we're going to be there and aware and paying attention for you so that we can take advantage of the opportunities, mitigate any threats and risks that might be there, and ensure that you have the tools to be able to do what you do every day, which is connect with the home buyers and sellers in your community.
Well, I would just say, like, despite Ginger and I saying this, it's not really us that's saying it, it's the consumer. If you look at any of our data over the last decade, like despite all the disruption, the numbers have stayed almost the same. They want you, they need you, they rely on you. The for sale by owner number has actually gone the other direction. It used to be, I think it was 12% at one point, then it was 11, then 10. I think it's down to 9 or 8. 90% of consumers say that they would use you again. 12% actually do, and that's because we don't maintain that relationship. And that's what's unique about what we do, is help you maintain the relationship. So if the consumer's been through the experience, I would assume they're more likely to not use a realtor at all again. Oh, I've been it, I've done it. Like, I don't need a realtor. No, they need you more than ever because you're continuing to help them grow that asset and keep them in that market of real estate and growing that lifestyle. So it's the consumer that's telling us that. It's not talking heads that are telling us that you're going to stay relevant. Does that make sense?
You know, Anna and Gary last night at dinner really brought up the main point. And when Chris brings up the percentage of people that don't go back to their realtor, it's because they forgot about you because you don't stay in touch with them. But Anna and Gary were talking about that relationship with your client is so important. And, you know, we have transaction coordinators and that help us do the paperwork, but it's about your relationship with that consumer that is the top of every list. You don't want them to forget about you. You need to have an automatic follow-up system so that you're always in front, whether you haven't sold them a property or you have sold them a property, be in front. Otherwise, you're forgettable.
She has a question, but there's nothing more heartbreaking than hearing from someone like, oh, I forgot you were in the business.
Yes.
We've reached over our time on this meeting, and Ginger and Chris are going to be here for a bit. I do want to acknowledge, we don't see our staff, but a few times a year gathered together. So I want to acknowledge Ashley, administration, and Haley, our director of marketing, Healy, part of our marketing and TC team, Katie, director of all our TC team. You know, you may work with these people and not meet them every day, but they do a great job. As Randy says, we put them up against any other team in the country. Kylie here is part of the marketing team and helps us here in the office and in Petaluma. Heather's a great agent and also a great trainer, helps us with training. Parmita, a great agent, and also helps us with our lead generation work. So
And she gets you on the Wi-Fi quick.
so
I have a little Wi-Fi.
You remember, I don't know how many years ago it was, maybe 10 or so, it was before we were partners, I think. Sherry had a program of building the houses in
Oh, yeah.
where was it?
El Salvador.
Or something.
News story.
News story. We did build a house.
And we did build a house and, you know, we contributed a little bit, $100 or something from each escrow. I think for a while until we had the $5,000 or whatever it was that we sent over there and they built a house. Liz and Martha are on the board of
The living room.
which shares, does work with abused women in the county. And they're building they have a capital campaign to build a new facility. And I think maybe we'll talk about it later, but I'd love to get us all on programs where we chip in a little from each escrow and support these guys and the people who use living room as a resource and something that's really needed. So we'll work on that and we'll try to bring that along.
In our last CAR magazine, you will see a paragraph from Liz in it. So we were a company that was picked to put in a little information. And Liz, thank you for sharing that with CAR. Great work.
And I have a couple of gifts for Ginger here for coming up here. And isn't it great having a president of the company from the West Coast? Many years in our backyard, she understands our market, you know, the people and we get a lot of business from Marin County.
Well, there's something else that we talked about last night. So
Yes.
I have to hang my license somewhere and it's going to be here. Unless it'll let me.
We do have production standards.
So I have this book and I don't know if you've gotten this book.
I
yet.
have not,
Okay.
no.
So this is a new book by Seth Godin. It's called The Song of Significance, and it's about companies and culture and the next thing needed in our businesses, not necessarily just real estate, but all our industries is something, a significance, something of significance for the people who work there. And I love this quote on the back. It reminds me of Randy. The purpose of a beehive isn't to make honey. Honey is a byproduct of a healthy hive. Now, my mentor, Earl Shuttleworth, many of you know, always said that you all are the CEOs of your own business. And we are we have a business too, but you all are the CEOs of your own business. And to make honey, you need to have a healthy hive. That means you need to be healthy yourself. You need to do healthy things and assist your clients in many ways. So take care of yourselves, take care of your businesses, and you will make honey. Okay. The other thing in this book, he defines the song of significance as the song of significance is creating a difference, being part of something, and doing work that you're proud of. Okay, so making a difference. Every day we have a chance to make a difference in the lives of the people we work with. These folks are talking about a word I use is transition. We're transition managers. We help people with transitions in their lives that involve real estate. Real estate's just part of it, but the transition is what we really help them with. So we can make a difference. We can be part of something. We're part of their lives. Ginger said, we're involved with them. We become part of their lives through this process. And work we can be proud of. If we do this work and have these rewards, I know I'm very proud of all of you, proud of the work I've done over the years, and I know you all can be proud of this work. And if it's not a work that's satisfying you, you can't be proud of, okay, so it's not your business. But this work allows us to be proud of what we do. Okay, so that's for you.
Thank you, love it.
And the second gift is the key to the city. I didn't go to the mayor of Sonoma and ask for the real key to the city, but here's our Better Homes key to the city. And I understand that Ginger likes to do selfies. So if you want a photo with Ginger, holding the key or whatever you want.
I got the keys to the city. Well, come on, we have to get a photo.
All right.
Yes. Can somebody grab? Chris, you gotta get.
And then we have to get everybody in a photo.
Yes, we do.
Well, then I guess,
Oh, yeah, I can get it. Got it.
I just stabbed him with the key.
You get the disco light. in the
It's
back.
okay to stand.
No,
I'm
I'm
just
just
kidding.
Okay, thanks.
You
All right, well, thanks.
everyone, do you want to stand in front of us and have someone shoot?
Yeah, why don't we do that?
Okay,
Yeah.
so why don't everybody filter down here?
Why don't we just do?
Yeah, why don't we just do it?
Back
try to do
up.
it.
Stand up so that you're not behind
Come
my.
on down this way and shorter people in front. You can't.
There you go.
Oh.
That was your doctor's appointment.